Hey guys, this is a Swamp Cleaner, back with another video for you. Now this is the first video of the 2020s, a new decade, a new year, so let's have a lot of fun, okay? Now, before I talk about today's subject, I'm just going to say that I'm recording this during the unfolding events of an Iranian missile attack on uh, Iraqi Air Force bases which house U.S. troops. Now, the attacks were a few hours ago, so no, the damage has been assessed, and apparently the Iranians have done pretty much nothing. No significant damage of any structures, and there have been no casualties of Americans. I've heard a few Iraqi soldiers may have been wounded. Sorry to hear that, but other than that, the Iranians have done nothing. Donald Trump has responded on Twitter, and he's done a very Simpson-esque kind of response. He's pulled the Nelson, has done it, ha ha, to the Iranians so they can go screw themselves for the evening. And we're going to talk about Star Wars, as you can see. And I'm actually not going to talk about what is in this article. You can see I just brought this up just for background. I have fixed Star Wars. Yes, that's a bold statement. But what I've done is I have taken the uh, the plot line of the third movie and have completely thrown Ryan Johnson's Last Jedi aside like a piece of paper, crumpled it up, threw it away because we don't need that. Because Ryan Johnson and Disney have pretty much screwed around with Star Wars to the point that it is unrecognizable. And you can actually tell that J.J. Abrams had an idea for all three movies. He had a good, clear arc. So I'm going to fix Star Wars now for you, and I'm going to actually fix the characters, like restore some dignity to them. And I'm actually going to connect it and make it logical for you. So, first off, Force Awakens, good. Keep that. Nothing wrong with it. Decent movie. It's because it mirrors A New Hope. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about. These plot lines actually all mirror the original trilogies in some way, shape, or form. You have um, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. All three of those, and you've got a winning combination to make a good trilogy. So, I'm going to, and of course, I'm going to be filling in a lot of stuff with my own opinions of how they could have made the plot make sense while keeping it grounded to what we know about Star Wars. So, let me get into it here. So, take the third movie, Rise of Skywalker, because it's a convoluted, jumbled up mess and there's so much stuff going on. You can tell that was two movies put into one. That was J.J. Abrams' ideas all shoved into the last movie just to try to save it. But anyway, snap it in half, completely in half. Keep the last half, we'll talk about that later. First half, that's the second movie, but first we have to stretch that out. It's a MacGuffin chase, and it's like being chased movie, kind of like Last Jedi. I mean, not Last Jedi. Sorry, kind of like The Empire Strikes Back, and I'll tell you how. After the events of um, the Force Awakens, Kylo Ren returns to Snoke, and he's training. But this is in between the movies. So at the start of the movie, he's done his training, and they are going to be chasing down Rey and everybody in the First Order. Snoke and Kylo Ren, they are coming after them. All right. So but Rey has gone off to search for Luke, and she's find him at the end of the movie. At the start of this movie, she is doing what Luke did in um, um, Empire Strikes Back. I'm sorry, I've got like 9 movies names, and I keep fucking forgetting which one to go where because I'm going to be jumping from movie to movie to movie. So forgive me. But Luke goes to see Yoda, and he trains with him, while Han and Leia and Chewie are running from the Empire. The plot for this movie is a mix of that running from the Empire and the MacGuffin chase, and then Rey being trained by Luke. So you have that melding of the same mirrored plot points. But what happens is Poe and you got Poe, you have Finn, no Rose Tico, she's not there. You got BB-8 and all those characters, and then you have the ones that were introduced in the third movie, such as Zori Bliss, Poe's love interest, because you barely get any backstory here. All these characters were shoved into these supposedly should have been main characters, in my opinion. I had that feeling that like the Stormtrooper clan, of the ones who rebelled just like Finn did, the main the black female Stormtrooper, she was supposed to have a prominent role, but I forget her because it was so short. She was in the movie for not so long. But then Zori Bliss, I remember because she's Poe's love interest, and she should have been introduced in this second half, in the second movie, as the Lando Calrissian type. Poe and crew are being chased by the First Order because Rey is off with Luke being trained, and they're being chased, and they go to the planet that Zori's on. And of course, she does the whole thing like, "Oh, it's you! How dare you come back here? I'm going to shoot you!" And he's like, "Whoa!" Poe's going to be like, "Oh, no, no, no! We got an issue here, First Order." And he does a breakdown to her, and he's like, "Can you help us?" She ends up, to help him to escape and stuff like that. But first, she might be conflicted, and maybe she might sell them out to the First Order first because she's so pissed off with Poe, and then at the end, she escapes and rescues them, and they all escape again. And they have to find this wayfinder. Okay, the blade. They have to get that, and all the while you also have Phasma still here. That I'm going to also talk about specific characters that I don't think they did justice to in this, and it's not J.J. Abrams' fault because he had to shove it all in there. Phasma should have had her story arc regarding her fight with Finn across all three movies. She should have been up in through the third movie and died in the third movie. Okay? So, here we go. And the same with Hux. I don't like what they did with Hux. That's actually my main gripe about the third movie, how they treated Hux. They turned him into just, "I'm the spy, bang, done." What? Come on. Anyway, that's besides the point right now. I'm getting off topic. But anyway, so Rey is still being trained by Luke, and at this point, Bliss and all that, Bliss and Poe and everybody is still on the run, trying to find the holocron that will get them into the unknown region, because they think that's where the First Order has its main base, and they want to destroy it, and that's where the First Order is getting all their equipment and power from, or something like that. Some plot reason. I'm just throwing this in there just to, give some kind of context that I think would be logical or easy to follow. And then what happens is Rey is training with Luke, and she senses the dark side, and then gets visions about her friends being in trouble. Haha, mirrors of Empire Strikes Back. And she sees the Wayfinder and where it's at, Endor, the Death Star, and then Luke is like, "That is where you must go. There's a convergence there." So Snoke and Kylo Ren are also chasing them down. Kylo Ren starts sensing, because he has that connection with Rey, that he has to go to Endor. And then, let's say Phasma is almost at Finn and Poe's back. She almost has him cornered. Finn's, because remember, in the third movie, he says he's force sensitive. They start playing with him being force sensitive. He can sense Rey and sense all that stuff going on and you only get that fleetingly in the third movie, because remember, all condensed, 2 movies into 1. And this is where they can flush out Finn's character. They start showing you his force sensitivity in the second movie. He starts sensing, he can sense where, and they're like, "Where do we go? We have nowhere else to go to find that. There's no more clues," because they were following clues to find this wayfinder. They ran out of clues. Phasma's on their doorstep. She's about to kill him, and he just, the force is like, "Endor." So then they're gonna head. So boom, bang. Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. They plot, ex machina. They're able to escape from Phasma and Hux and Kylo Ren and Snoke. They zoom off to Endor. Rey, of course, she's had the vision. She knows where to go, so she zooms off to Endor. And then that is where the main battle that we got with in the throne room scene in the second movie with Snoke at the end of the second movie here, but this takes place on Endor, okay? This takes place on Endor in the old Emperor's throne room, okay? So it gives you this is, and I'm throwing this up right now off the top of my head. Oh, you're gonna love this. So Snoke is in the throne room. It's like this is where the old and he reminisces of Palpatine, and then Kylo Ren battles Rey, and then there's like a struggle and stuff, and then something happens where she gets through to him, and then they actually start battling Kylo. Now, but what's Poe and all of them doing? Well, they're outside and they found themselves some special friends because when they landed on Endor, they found those rebel stormtrooper group of all those people. So there are those characters now introduced into the movie as well, and by the second movie. So by the third movie, all the main characters are established because even in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, all the main characters were established, besides General Grievous, by the second movie. Yeah, General Grievous wasn't in the first or second movie. I'll give you that. But he was straightforward, leader of the army. He's kind of like the older, badder general from the Rise of Skywalker, who offs Hux so nonchalantly. That was crap. I hated that scene. It's like I was shot he shot me in the leg, and they escaped, and it's just like, and he grabs a gun, poof, and he's just like, um, tell Kylo Ren we found the spy. I'm like, holy crap, come on, man. But that's beside the point. I'm getting off topic again. But anyway, so they found Finn and Rey. They found their special friends in the Rebel Stormtroopers, and there's enough of them to hold off Phasma and Hux, who are outside trying to battle them outside, while Rey and Kylo are battling Snoke inside. Snoke dies, and because there's that holocron that everybody needs to attain to get into the unknown regions. As soon as Snoke dies, Rey is trying to convince Kylo to go with him. He's conflicted, and then boom, Palpatine's voice comes through, or like force visions across everybody in the universe. And then Rey and Kylo see him. Rey is taken aback by this. Kylo kind of goes, semi wonky, and what he does is he snatches up the holocron and like forces his way out and leaps into a ship and blasts off to the unknown regions to find this Palpatine, this dead emperor, and put him out of his misery for good so he can be the true ruler. Just like the Crawl said in the start of The Rise of Skywalker, where Kylo Ren is frantically seeking out this other force power so he can destroy it and he can be the true ruler. So then he goes off in like a fit of, semi-insanity. Rey is like, oh my god, what's happened? And leaves him because he's left everybody in the dust. She's like, and she needs to reflect like all good Jedi do. So she needs to turn around and reflect upon this and speak to Leia and speak to Luke. Because remember, Luke didn't die here, okay? Luke didn't have major stuff to do, but that's why, because he sticks around for the third movie. And then he sacrifices himself in the third movie and becomes a Force ghost then. That's a much better story. He sacrifices himself for, I don't know. I don't want to put a scenario out there because I don't want people to criticize me based on, well, that's a stupid reason to sacrifice himself. So I'm not going to just throw that out there. But in the third movie, Luke sacrifices himself for Rey and the greater cause to protect everybody. Essentially like what he did in The Last Jedi, but in a better way than how he did it. It was kind of stupid how he did it. I'd say he has to physically be there, and he has to physically get or like stabbed or lightsabered or something. He has to die in a duel or something like that. That's how I'd see him going. But he's Luke Skywalker. Anyway, so That's how the second movie ends. Kylo goes off searching for Palpatine and all this stuff, and Phasma and Rey and everybody else. She saves everybody outside the last minute, and they all escape. And Phasma's like, "I'm gonna get you," and Hux is like, "Yarr," and all that stuff. And then, boom, you have the third movie, which is pretty much all about Palpatine, 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 Palpatine. Just drive home Palpatine. And then you have it where Kylo Ren is seduced a little bit, so he's going to come back and fight them. Uh, and they meet in real space, have a battle between each other, Rey and Kylo. She, defeats him, saves his life, turns him to good because she shows him true virtue. And see, like, even in the face of you trying to kill me, I'm gonna save your life. So he turns good because at then he sees his mother, sees his father again, all that good stuff, all them good old juicy Star Wars feels. Get them all riled up to be like, all right, you know what? Let's go back to the unknown regions and kick this Emperor's ass. You got Lando there. You got Zori Bliss with Poe because they need to be in a relationship because they want. You could tell in the third movie, Poe's like, can we, and she's like, oh, come on, man, you gotta have that. You gotta have that going on. And then Finn has maybe a little romance going on with that female stormtrooper chick because they're of the same kind. He rebelled from the First Order, and so did her troop. So why not? They're the same kind of people. So why not? So they go back, have the big old space battle, and then Kylo and there are going to face the Emperor, and it's pretty much the end of the Rise of Skywalker, just stretched out a little bit longer. That's pretty much it. There we go. Star Wars fixed. How can somebody please at Hollywood? You know what? I don't want to go anywhere near Hollywood. Screw Hollywood. I'll work from home. You can hire me. I'll work from home. I'll write the scripts for you. Just send me a couple, $100,000, and I'll write out a good script for you to fix Star Wars. If anybody in Hollywood can hear me, um, just hit me up on Twitter. My DMs are open. So yeah, hit me up and I'll fix Star Wars for you. Anyway, I just thought I'd do that video. It's a little bit on a lighter note to start the new decade, the 2020s. So hope you guys enjoyed my little foray into plot development, and I hope you enjoyed my rendition of fixing Star Wars, and I will see you guys elsewhere. All right, this is a Swamp Cleaner. Hope you guys have a happy 2020. See you later.